everybody, this is Tambioto coming at you with another third-party Transformers video review. This time I have Fansproject's Function X2 Quadruple U. Most of us will know him as Headmaster Weirdwolf. Then taking a look at the box, you'll see that it's the same design as Code, in that the box itself is a blue kind of sea green color with the white details actually on the clear sleeve that goes around the box. Alright, and on the front of the box you'll see the Function X logo with it being number 2, which is the second release of these Headmasters in the Function X kind of class. Then we have his name, Quadruple U, and then this FX, or the Function X logo. Then on the side we have Quadruple U in his robot, and then a picture of him, of the inside of his wolf mouth. On the back we have this large warning label, and then down here we have a picture of kind of half of his face. Then on this side right here we have the Function X logo with his name. And just like on the other release, there's nothing on the top or on the bottom. Alright, now let's get him out of the box and check him out. Alright, and here we have Quadruple U out of the box and in his alternate mode, which is a wolf. Alright, taking a quick look at him. I must say I do really like these colors with this the sea green kind of color, or the sea blue kind of color. Then I don't know, it's like on the verge of like an orange, in between an orange and a yellow. Just get a quick 360-degree view of him. Getting into his articulation real quick, starting at the head. His mouth does open and close. Then his head goes up and down. It doesn't turn any. Some of this stuff right here can move, but this is what makes the gap on the inside to fit the Headmaster. So I just kind of leave him alone right there. So I'm not really going to say that there's anything in there. It can move a little bit, but it's not going to, you're not going to be able to get any kind of pose or anything out of that. Then his front arms are on a ball joint, and then he has a joint right here at, I guess, what would be his elbow, and then one right here at his paw. Then coming here, you don't even get the twist. The twist is further up here. Then his back paws, or back legs, are on a ball joint. It has, you can get some movement here, but then you're going to have to move this foot. I don't think that this is supposed to be, gosh, I'm not too sure of a wolf's anatomy, if this is actually a hinge right here, but you got this foot, so you can just bend this foot around a little bit to get some movement out of this. Then you have a little ball joint right here for this part of the foot, and then you have a pivot joint right here on the back paws. The tail has no articulation. It's pegged into there, and it's pretty sturdy, so there's no moving it left or right or up and down or anything like that, which I'll show you that later, how that's actually pegged into there later on transformation. And as I said, the Headmaster guy is actually in a cockpit in here, so to open that up, you just grab this red part and these parts right here, lift that up, and then you're going to take this part right here, this sea green part, and flip this up. So you flip all that up, and then you can take this guy out. And he has the same articulation as Code's Headmaster does. He has the hip, he has a knee joint, and then he has a shoulder joint with no head or anything like that, or elbow. And then to show you the back real quick, the transformation is a little bit different on this guy. It transforms the same way, but because there's a visor, the end is a little different. I'll show you that whenever I show the transformation into robot mode. But I'm going to go ahead and set this guy off to the side and close him up. And we'll go ahead and get into how he transforms into his robot mode. But before that, I forgot to show off his instructions. They're just the same as codes. You have the gray with red parts kind of indicating what parts are going to be moved. And then right here, kind of like they did last time, which should indicate who's going to actually be next. Yeah, if keeping with the way they did last time, this is going to be the next figure. So, alright, so for transformation, we need to keep this part open right here. This part is going to stay closed, but this part's open. So to transform his paws, or his hands, you're going to take this part right here, rotate it around. That's going to create a thumb. Move that paw forward, and then you'll just rotate it right there at this portion right here, like that. And go ahead and move that down like that. Then we're going to unpeg this chest piece right here. Just a little bit. It kind of pegs in there. It doesn't really peg in too well. This helps keep this in place. So I'm going to unpeg this just a little bit. And then what you're going to do is take these shoulder pieces and this orange piece, and they're going to come out. It's on two kind of hinges, so it's going to come out and then swing around. So you can do that. You got to do it on both sides because it's going to actually extend out the chest cavity to make him a little bit taller, or make him look a little bit taller. Alright, so with that out, this piece right here gets tabbed into right here. And then you can rotate down the head. I think rotate that up like that. Or do you go back like that? Well, and just leave it right there for right now, and then we'll close this up. And that'll help. We'll close this up right here. And you can go like that. That'll help hold all that together. Alright, so now for the feet, which are the interesting part. Let me rotate that down and get that out of the way. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is take and rotate the waist so that this part is in the front. And then, like I said, it's a little strange, but these are like his two legs, and then these are part of his legs right here too. So you're going to take and untab those together, and they actually tab together or held together by this sword. So with that pulled apart, then you can take and pull out the sword right there. It just kind of slides in right here, and then it slides in right here on the other side to kind of hold all that stuff together. And put that sword right there, and then rotate that down, rotate that leg part down, and then rotate that in like that, rotate that in like that, and then spin the legs around and flip the paws forward, flip these heels out, and then they're going to rotate inward at a little hinge right here in the foot. So gotta get like that, and then these paws will tab in right there. And we'll do that on this side real quick. It's going to go inward, that, and then there's these two tabs right here, and they're going to go on the inside of the legs right there. So, like that. And like I said, the Headmaster, he's a little bit different, but he transforms pretty much the same way. You're going to have his arms down like that, and then you're going to fold this, and then fold this, and then you're going to take this part right here, this visor part, and you got to pull that out, and then rotate all this down like this. So then you get his eyes and everything, and then you can fold that visor down over his eyes. So you fold that down like that. Make sure it's all, his legs are all accordioned in, and then you can then attach him to where his head's supposed to go. And then there you have Quadruple U in his robot mode. And his sword does become his tail, and he can hold it in his hands. His thumb doesn't do anything. It's held in the palm, so you can pull that up and it'll stay there whether that thumb's there or not. The thumb's really weird with all that stuff, and it's kind of got some weirdness or whatever. But then there's a couple of little weird black things that are right here, and then there's two on his legs. So if you pull this one out right here, like that, and there's another one just on the other side, just like that, and they just have like little places where you can grab them and then just rotate them up like that. So, and then you'll notice that there's holes in them. See, you can see the hole right there, and then there's a hole right there. Well, you can actually use those to actually hold a sword. Oh gosh, this guy's a little weird. His transformation's a little weird, so the way that they built him kind of makes him a little fumbly kind of sometimes. But what you can do is you can take the sword, there's a hinge right here, and it's connected all the way through here to right here, so you can kind of break that open, and then you can take the sword, if you go like that, and then you can then put this little portion through that hole right there, and then lock that up, and it's like he's kind of carrying a sword on the side of his hip. And then you can also do it right here, but then it would be facing I guess you could do it like that or like that. Do it right there. And you have your sword like that. I like and kind of hate the way that they did his knees, just because of the way that they had to do it for transformation. And the transformation's so lovely. It's just whenever he's in his robot mode, it makes him look like bow-legged. If you don't try to keep it straight, you know, or pigeon-legged or whatever, because you can go both ways. It's just you have to find that kind of happy medium with that leg. Alright, and as for his articulation, they did kind of fix some stuff, but then some of the stuff is just still like the shoulders and the thigh joints. They just don't extend all the way out, so hiccups. But go ahead and pull this off so it's not in the way. Put that back down. For his articulation, they did add an extra joint to his head, so along with the left and right, he can look down now. They added an extra little joint so that where the connector is, it can actually look down now. He can't look up, or you can pull this out and make him look up, but there's not a joint to make him do that. You can kind of untab him a little bit and pull him back, but for his shoulders, he has that ball joint, but you see it's only going to go about that far. Then he has on the top part right here, he has a little bicep cut. Then he has his elbow joint, which only goes about that far. It doesn't even go 90 degrees. Then he has a cut right underneath that elbow. And then he kind of has this wrist, but if you do that, then it kind of breaks up this right here. It kind of breaks up that illusion of a thumb. So then for his hips, he has that rotation right there. Then he has this ball joint right here. He can only go about that far again. It's very limited. Forward and back all the way. Then for the knee is a little different because it's the wolf's thigh joint. So it's actually a ball joint, and it can go all the way up to here. It can go all the way up there. And it can do weird other things that it shouldn't do. But you can point his toe, but it won't go up. It just points. And if you detach this part right here, you can get kind of an outward rocking, but there's kind of an inward rocking. So if you detach that leg, then you can get those. You can get a little bit of it without detaching it, but you get a lot more if you detach that leg. But overall, I would recommend this figure. He does look nice, especially in his wolf mode. There are some little nitpicks that I don't terribly love about this guy. The fact that this is a ball joint, but it's used for the wolf mode, but then it ends up hindering his robot mode. And the robot mode is usually the modes that I keep my figures displayed in. And these thumb things, I don't know how else they could have fixed this other than having a fist that would flip in and out, and then maybe this would flip into here somehow. They would have had to have done a totally different kind of gimmick. I don't know. I don't really like this thing right here. This has no real appeal to me. It kind of felt like the designer was like, well, what the heck am I going to do with the hands? Let's add this piece. That's what it makes me feel like. But enough with the negative. On the positive, I do like his head. I think it looks really good. I like that visor. I like these colors. These colors are really nice. The details in it, the sculpts, it's all like top notch. And this feels actually really good. It doesn't feel as bad as Code did with some of those really thin pieces. I don't feel like I'm going to break anything on this guy. It feels nice and solid. I think overall this guy was an improvement. Hopefully they'll just keep cranking out some good headmasters, because we all know that those aren't being released by Hasbro, and who knows if they ever will. Good job, man. So good job, Fansproject. Keep up the good work, and with that, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude my review. Don't forget to subscribe to your videos if you like this, and I'll see you next time.